Hi guys, we're going to do the Unit 4 End of Unit Assessment Study Guide. So we're going to start with our first question, and they want to know the slope of line L. So we're going to start with y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. It's an x. Okay, so that's right here. So we got negative 4 minus 8 divided by negative 9 minus negative 4. So just to remind everybody that when you're subtracting, you want to keep change. So that gives you negative 12, then keep change. That gives you negative 5. So your slope is going to give you 12 over 5. And you don't want to change that to 2 and 2/5 because that's not going to give you a rise over run or a slope. So you want to keep that as 12 over 5. All right, for the next one, they want us to order these as to least of greatest in the rate of change. So that's your slope. Rate of change, they're talking about your slope. So your slope here is your 2/3. Your slope here is 1 over 2, so 1/2. And your slope here is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So you've got negative 4 minus negative 2 divided by 2 minus 1, which gives you negative 2 over 1. So your slope is negative 2. So if I was going to order these from least to greatest, I know that this is your smallest.
Attention please, the boys basketball team needs to report to Coach Casefault's room after school. Thank you.
This is going to be your second because it's a half, and this is your third because 2/3 is the largest. All right, for this next one, it says which table is a linear function. So I'm going to plot these points. So 1, negative 1, and then 3, 1. So over 3 up 1, and then 5, 3 over 5 up 3, and then 8, 5 over 8 up 5. So it'd be somewhere over here. So this one looks questionable. Okay, so let's try another one. So we've got negative 1, negative 5. Then we've got 2, negative 3. Then we've got 5, negative 1. Then we've got 8, 1. That one looks like it kind of goes kind of crazy. So I'm thinking it's not going to be C. All right, let's try another one. All right, so then we've got 2, negative 5. And then 3, negative 3. And then 5, 2. Ooh, this one's getting kind of crazy. 6, 4. That one looks kind of crazy too. I'm going to go with not that one. And then let's try that last one. Negative 1, 7, so that's going to be down here. 1, 4. 4, 1. Oops, I did that wrong. Silly me. Negative 1, 7. That makes way more sense. Now 1, 4. 4, 1. Well, that's getting kind of off the line. 7, negative 2. It's getting kind of crazy. So A is looking pretty good. All right, classify each as a linear or nonlinear function. Well, a linear function means that it makes a line. So this is going to be your linear, and this is your nonlinear. All right. If this is a relationship described, they want to know what is the b. Well, if you did this one in the last set, you did y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. You know that the slope here is -2. So we get y equals -2x. Then we're going to take that number and we're going to multiply it by that first set in our first coordinate pair. So -2 times 1. So -2 times 1 is -2, right? All right. What's -2 times 2? -4. -2 times 3, we get -6. So if they're asking what is the value of b, it would be 0 because it's going to cross through the origin, okay? Because there's not going to be anything to add or subtract. All right, what is the equation for this graph? Well, we know the y-intercept is at 3, so we know our equation is always y equals mx plus b, so we know it's going to be plus 3. And then we're going to find our slope. So let's find a good point. So up to over 3, and it's a negative slope, so -2/3 x. So y equals -2/3 x plus 3. All right, which equation has the same slope as the function in the table? All right, so I have to take this, and I'm going to have to find the slope. So y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So I get 3 minus -7 divided by 2 minus -2. So I get 10 divided by 4, which reduces to 5/2. So they just want the slope to be the same, right? They want the same slope. So 5/2. So it would have to be that one. Which equation does not represent a linear function? Because they divided by x. All right, both the equation, y equals 2x, and the graph are linear functions. Which statement is true? The slopes are the same for both representations. Well, let's see what the slope is. Well, the slope is 1/2, so that's not true. Okay, the slope for the equation is steeper than the graph. Well, 2/1 is going to be steeper than 1/2, so B is looking good. The y-intercepts are the same. Well, plus 3 and plus 4, that's not the same. The y-intercept for the graph is lower than the y-intercept in the equation. Well, 4 is not lower than 3, so B was the correct answer. What is the equation of this graph? Well, I know I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. So we've got y equals 4x, and it's a negative because, well, that looks mighty suspicious, so let's give us some more room. -4x, and then plus 2, because that's where it crosses the y-axis. It says, write the equation of the line. So again, I go back to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, and I get 12 minus -1 divided by -6 minus 3, and I get 13 -9. Whew. This is going to be one hard equation to come up with. All right, so I'm going to choose one of the numbers. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to choose this pair right here. And I'm going to substitute it in. So -1 equals -13 over 9 times 3 over 1. So I end up with -1 equals -13 over 3. So what do I have to add or subtract to get from -13 over 3 to -1? So right now I have -3 over 3. So that means I would have to add or subtract another 10 over 3, right? Yep. That one's a hard one. You guys won't get one that's that hard. Okay, so we've got y equals -13 over 9x minus 10 thirds. All right, next one. A parking garage charges a flat fee for the first hour plus $3.25 for each additional hour of parking. So I know that this is going to give me where my x is. So I can't eliminate any of them because that's where all the x's are. It costs $9.25 to park in the garage for 3 hours. Okay, so which equation models that? So I know that I have $9.25, right? And for 2 hours, it costs $3.25. So that would be, what, $7.50? I'm going to have to change that on the study guide. It'll have to be $1.75. So the answer should be C. All right, for the next one, write the equation for the function. All right. So we got y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So 4 minus 1 divided by 2 minus 1. We end up with 3 over 1. So y equals 3x. So then I'm going to choose a point and substitute it in. So 1 equals 3 times 1. So 1 equals 3. So what do I do to 3 to make it equal 1? Well, I'm going to subtract 2. So 3x minus 2. So let's check that. So let's check that. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. Yep, it works. Based on the graph, they want to know what is the meaning of the initial value. So they're talking about this 20. What is the meaning of that? So the graph on the coordinate plane represents the cost per day for renting a car based on the number of miles traveled. So the meaning of the initial value. So it means that the car rental has a base cost of $10 per day. It means that the car rental costs $10 per 100 miles traveled. It means that the rental car has a base cost of 20 miles per day. It means that the car rental costs $20 per 100 miles traveled. Well, they haven't traveled 100 miles yet, so it can't be that one, and it can't be that one. And it's not on 10, so the base cost just to rent the car is $20 per day. All right, what is the meaning of the rate of change? So the slope. So the slope is 305. So if I'm trying to figure out my slope, and I know it's going through the origin, I know it's going to be 60 over 1. So it means that the company is in violation of the environmental regulation, and it's being fined by the government. So it means in one day, it's getting charged $60. So every day, it's going to get charged $60. So if it didn't do anything wrong, it's not going to get fined. All right, they want to know, where is the line going to cross the y-axis? So we're going to do y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So 16 minus 12 divided by 15 minus 9. So 4 over 3. So y equals 4/3 x. So then we're going to choose one of these 2 points and substitute it in. So 12 equals 4/3 times 9 over 1. So we end up with 36 divided by 3. No. Did I do that wrong? 16 minus 12 is 4. Oh, because that's supposed to be 6, Goofy. Let's just fix this whole thing. All right, so I get 4 over 6, which reduces to 2/3. Okay, so y equals 2/3 x. That makes way more sense. Jeez Louise. So we're going to now choose a point. So 12 equals 2/3 times 9 over 1. So 18 divided by 3 is 6. So 12 equals 6. So what am I going to add or subtract to 6 to get to 12? I'm going to add 6. So I'm going to add 6 here. So let's check to see if that works. So 2 times 15 is 30. 30 divided by 3 is 10. 10 plus 6 is 16. So my equation is y equals 2/3 x plus 6. So where does it cross the y-axis? At 6. All right, the graph below shows how the length of a certain type of fish changes over 10 years. Okay, what is the rate of the length of the fish increasing? So the rate, we're talking about the slope. Okay, so 5, 10, 15, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 3. So it's 3 centimeters per year. All right, Tia began filling the bathtub at a constant rate. Okay, then she turned off the water. So that means it's going to make a flat line. So it can't be this one, can't be that one. And then she drained out some of the water. So then it had to come down. Okay, then she turned the water back on. So she began filling it at a constant rate. Then she turned off the water for a while. So there was a pause. That meant it stopped. And some of the water drained out. Then she turned it back on. So it's going to be D. All right. For what values are x and y decreasing for the entire interval? For what values of x are the values of y decreasing? So wouldn't that be 5 to 8? So 5 to 8. All right, what best describes the function? Well, it's increasing and non-linear, so it kind of looks like a line, but it's not quite a line. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Bye.